The morning sunlight filtered through the delicate lace curtains that Eleanor had hung up back in the 70s. Every dawn, as I gazed at them, I recalled her gentle hands, her graceful fingers working the needle and yarn. She loved to crochet in the early hours when the house was quiet. She believed that, in the stillness, the most exquisite designs emerged. 4 years had passed since she left us, and I still couldn't bring myself to replace those curtains. Why would I? They allowed just the perfect amount of light, not too harsh, not too faint, just like everything Eleanor did. The wooden floors creaked under my steps. The home on Maple Avenue had grown old alongside us. It was more than 45 years old. We purchased it shortly after I was named lead hydraulic engineer for the Riverside Town Water Department. A substantial mortgage, payments spread over 20 years, but we managed it. This place held our family's story, etched into every ceiling crack, every groaning stair. I shuffled to the kitchen, automatically filled the old coffee machine, and lined up my medications. A little daily regimen of vibrant capsules on the table for hypertension, for high cholesterol, supplements. I used to be a robust man, capable of designing and overseeing an entire reservoir project. Now, my primary duty was remembering to swallow my pills. 78 is an odd age. You still picture yourself as youthful, vigorous, brimming with ambitions. But your body reminds you with each motion that those days are far behind. After Eleanor passed, the house seemed even larger, too vast for one elderly man. The doorbell chimed as I finished my meal. On the porch stood Ethan, my grandson, Sophia's boy. Tall, slender, with my eyes and Eleanor's warm grin. "Good morning." "Grandpa?" He embraced me gently, as if fearing I might shatter. I brought fresh saplings for the rear flower patch. As I promised, Ethan was a gardener by trade, and unlike his mother, he didn't visit only on special occasions. Typically, once a week, he'd stop by to assist with the yard, which was growing too demanding for me. "You should have joined me for coffee first," I muttered as I welcomed him inside. "What's the rush?" "Sorry." "Grandpa?" He grinned, removing his coat. "I just want to beat the heat. Do you realize how tough it is to dig when the sun beats down on you?" We shared coffee in the kitchen, and Ethan shared details of his recent jobs. He'd just been hired to landscape the grounds for the town's new community center. I listened, staring out at the garden that Eleanor and I had begun planting nearly half a century ago. "I'll start on the southern section," Ethan said, draining his cup. "And you relax." "Grandpa?" "I'll handle it." I agreed. But naturally, I wouldn't stay indoors. I slipped on an old work shirt and joined him in the yard, where he was already preparing spots for the new greenery. "What are we adding?" I inquired, easing myself onto the garden seat next to him. "Peonies and some types of ferns," he answered, continuing his task. "They're low maintenance and thrive in shade, ideal for this spot." I watched his hands, skillfully tending the earth. He was like Eleanor in that way. The same passion for flora, the same endurance. "Your grandmother would have adored this," I commented. Ethan smiled without looking up. "I recall how she showed me to tell weeds from sprouts. She said gardening was about noticing the little things." We labored for a few hours, or rather, Ethan did the work, while I passed tools and offered tips now and then. which he accepted graciously, though I'm certain he knew far more about horticulture than I did. Around midday, as the sun climbed higher, my daughter Sophia's sleek black SUV pulled into the driveway. She stepped out, poised and neat as always. At 52, she maintained herself better than her mother ever had. "Dad? Ethan." She waved as she shut the vehicle. "What a nice surprise. I didn't realize you were here today, son." Ethan glanced at me briefly. We both knew that wasn't accurate. He'd mentioned his plans to her on the call yesterday. "Hi, Mom." He stood, brushing his hands on his pants. I chose to assist Grandpa with the yard. Sophia approached, stepping cautiously on the path in her stilettos. "Dad? Are you out in the garden again, Doctor? Harrison warned you to take it easy." I exhaled. Sophia always opened with comments on my well-being. I'm simply sitting here, observing my grandson at work. I responded, "It's not against the rules yet, as far as I know." She tightened her lips, but chose not to push it. "I brought you a meal from that French cafe you enjoy," she mentioned, gesturing to the package in her grasp. "And I wanted to check on how you're managing by yourself." We went inside the house. As Sophia set out the food on the kitchen counter, I observed her. Something in her posture revealed unease. She never dropped by unannounced, especially with takeout from a spot 20 miles away. Ethan rinsed his hands and sat with us. Sophia arranged the dishes, fetched soda from the fridge. "So, Dad," she started as we ate, "I've been considering your home." There it is. I set down my utensil. "And what have you been pondering about my home?" She sipped her drink, selecting her words. "It's too spacious for you alone. So many unused rooms. And you're struggling with the upkeep. Perhaps you should look into something smaller." Ethan stiffened, but kept eating quietly. "This home was plenty compact when 3 people resided here," I replied steadily. "It feels large now because I'm solitary. But it's mine, and I'm staying put." Sophia acted shocked by my reply. "Dad, I'm only concerned for you. This place demands ongoing repairs, the shingles, the lawn, the furnace in winter, and you're already 78. Maybe you ought to plan for what's ahead. Reginald and I have a solid suggestion." "Mom," Ethan cut in, "Grandpa's handling things well. I aid with the yard. Mrs. Baker from across the street visits twice weekly to tidy up. All is managed." Sophia shot her son a disapproving stare. "Of course, dear, but that's for now. What about in a year or two?" She faced me. "Dad, I'm truly thinking of your best interests. Reginald and I could appreciate the meal." "Sophia," I stood from the table, "but it's time for my meds and a nap. Doctor Harrison, as you recall, suggested I look after myself." She pursed her lips, but didn't press. After the meal, Ethan returned to the yard to complete his tasks, but Sophia surprisingly lingered. "Dad, is it okay if I look around?" she inquired. "It's been ages since I've seen some rooms." I shrugged. "Go ahead, if you like. Nothing's altered." While she toured the home, I sat in my armchair in the den, feigning interest in the paper. In truth, I tracked her footsteps. She inspected every space, even climbed to the loft. What was she seeking or assessing when she returned? She sat opposite me. "Dad, I've meant to ask for a while. Do you have a will?" There it was. I regarded her and saw not my child, but the shrewd financial advisor she'd become. I do, I said curtly. I drafted it when your mom was alive. Revised it after she passed. May I inquire? No. I folded the newspaper? No, you may not. It's my affair. She appeared wounded. Dad, I just want to be prepared, so there are no issues later. You understand. Reginald says I'm not concerned with what your spouse says. I stated, when the moment arrives, you'll learn all. Until then, this is my existence and my assets. Sophia rose, smoothing her impeccably tailored blazer. Fine, Dad, as you wish. I only aim to assist. She departed soon after, mentioning a key client appointment. Ethan remained until dusk, finished the planting, and aided with a supper. Grandpa, don't fret over Mom, he said as we relaxed on the patio with herbal tea. She's just well. You know her nature. I did know. Sophia was ever pragmatic to the brink of insensitivity. Perhaps it's our fault Eleanor and I indulged our sole daughter excessively. Or perhaps she came that way. Regardless, her curiosity about my home was all too evident. The following morning, I felt unwell. Upon waking, it seemed I couldn't draw a deep breath. My chest was constricted like in a clamp. I labored to the telephone and contacted Dr. Harrison. They admitted me to the clinic for 2 days. Examinations, scans, additional assessments. On the final day, Harrison entered with a grave expression. Harold, he said, shutting the door, I bear unfortunate news. I nodded. At 78, you don't anticipate positive updates from physicians. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. He declared, it's quite progressed. I'm astonished you hadn't noticed signs earlier. I had signs. I confessed. I merely attributed them to aging. Harrison shook his head. Aging isn't an ailment. Harold, I'll prescribe therapy, but brace for it to worsen over time. You'll require assistance. He issued the scripts, outlined the drug schedule, and added, and I'm assigning a nurse to visit you twice weekly for shots and evaluations. Her name is Clara Thompson, highly skilled. Ethan drove me back. He suggested staying overnight, but I refused. I needed solitude to absorb the information. Clara appeared the next day, a compact woman in her 40s with cropped auburn hair and spots across her nose. Mr. Jenkins. She extended her hand. I'm Clara Thompson. Doctor. Harrison dispatched me to aid with your care. She wasn't overly talkative, which suited me. Swiftly and expertly gave the injection, measured my blood pressure, noted the figures in her journal. Do you reside alone? She questioned while stowing her tools. Yes, I responded. My wife departed 4 years ago. Offspring, a daughter, and a grandson, but they dwell separately. She nodded. It's positive you have kin. With your condition, support from dear ones is crucial. I refrained from mentioning that my daughter cared more for my residence than my health. Clara visited twice weekly. On Mondays and Thursdays, slowly, our chats extended beyond my wellness. She was a widow, too. Her spouse perished in a vehicle crash 8 years prior. No kids. One day, as Clara administered my shot, Sophia arrived unannounced. She entered without rapping, using the key I'd provided years back for urgencies. Dad, she halted in the entry upon spotting Clara with the needle. What's occurring? Clara calmly concluded the process. Hello? You must be Mr. Jenkins's daughter, she stated. I'm Clara Thompson, nurse, doctor. Harrison sent me to assist your father. Sophia shifted her gaze to me. Dad, why didn't you inform me you required a nurse? What's amiss? I hadn't wished to disclose the diagnosis. I didn't want to witness the feigned worry on her face. Masking scheming. It's minor, I replied. Just getting older. Doctor, Harrison is being cautious. Clara shot me a puzzled glance, but stayed silent. Sophia didn't buy it. Nurses aren't sent for nothing. What's the issue? Mr. Jenkins is receiving treatment for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Clara explained while packing up. The injections must be regular. And some procedures are tough solo. I noted the expression on Sophia's face. Initial surprise, then something else. A brief look I couldn't or wouldn't identify. CPD. She sat beside me. Dad, why conceal it? It's grave. Precisely why I hid it. I answered. I didn't wish to trouble you. Clara bid farewell discreetly and exited. As soon as the door latched, Sophia leaned in. How severe is it? What does the doctor predict? I shrugged. The standard. That at my age. Prepare for anything. Dad. She clasped my hand, a motion that felt awkward. You can't stay alone with this condition. You need ongoing supervision. Care. I have Clara. I withdrew my hand, and I'm managing fine. But she comes only twice weekly. What if something occurs when she's absent? Sophia shook her head. No, that's insufficient. Reginald and I were discussing just that, what I asked, though I sensed the reply about you relocating with us, or she hesitated. Perhaps another choice? We could relocate here. The home is ample. Space for all. And it would shorten Reginald's commute. There it was. I regarded my daughter and barely knew her. Or perhaps I finally saw her truly. Sophia, I said deliberately. I'm not relocating, and no one's joining me. This is my residence, and I'll dwell in it as long as possible. But Dad, thanks for the concern. If I need aid, I'll reach out. Meanwhile, I'm fine. She departed, evidently unhappy, but she didn't persist, at least not then. Later, in bed, I pondered her expression upon learning my diagnosis. It wasn't sorrow or dread for me. It was something like computation. I knew this was merely the start. Now aware of my illness, the home discussions would intensify, and I had to prepare. After Sophia's visit and Clara's unintended reveal of my condition, I observed a shift. My daughter began appearing far more frequently. First, once weekly, then thrice. Always with a pretext of baked pie, a fresh throw for the den, or just driving nearby and decided to stop. 20 miles from her place, driving nearby, amusing. That Wednesday, she didn't come solo. Her black SUV arrived at my home around 3 in the afternoon, right after Clara departed. Sophia and her husband Reginald, a lofty, fit man with perfectly groomed silver hair and a smile that never touched his eyes, emerged from the car. Dad. Sophia waved as if we hadn't met in ages. See who I brought? Reginald approached the steps, clutching a binder of sorts. It alerted me immediately. In the 18 years they'd been wed, he visited my home only on major celebrations, and never with professional files. Harold, he offered his hand. How are you faring? Sophia mentioned your condition. I'm regretful. His tone was precisely measured, just enough genuineness for politeness, no excess. It's okay, I said, admitting them. What draws you to my area? Reginald, as I remember, you're not fond of suburban drives. He grinned, his attorney's grin. Occasionally, a scenery change is beneficial. Moreover, Sophia and I have something vital to address with you. We entered the den. Sophia headed directly to the kitchen, claiming she'd brew tea, leaving Reginald and me alone. He surveyed the space with open curiosity. Lovely home, he observed. How many square feet? Around 1,800, I replied, plus the upper storage and lower level. He whistled. That's substantial for one individual. Substantial for one. Substantial for kin, I retorted. When we acquired it, we didn't foresee living here solo. Reginald nodded with pretended empathy. Certainly. Certainly. Losing your lifelong companion alters everything. Sophia returned with a platter. She poured the tea, offered biscuits. Her actions were faintly nurturing. Now, Reginald commenced, extracting papers from his binder. Sophia and I have pondered your circumstances extensively. Harold, jump. What circumstances? Your health, your housing, your tomorrow? He displayed the documents on the table. We have a plan that resolves all your concerns at once. I waited quietly for him to proceed. Sophia adjusted her hair anxiously. Dad, we believe you should deed the home to Reginald. Merely formally, she added rapidly. Noting my expression, you'll continue residing here. Naturally. But it'll relieve you of property levies, the burden of maintenance, and it will grant you authority over my assets. I completed for her. Reginald cleared his throat. Harold, this is routine for estate strategy. We simply aim to evade probate complications. When he paused, picking terms. When the time comes. Duties. Red tape. Valuation. All that can extend for weeks, if not months. I examined the papers he'd presented. The transfer document, already completed. Only my signature lacked. What's the haste? I questioned, pushing them aside. I'm not expiring yet, you realize. Sophia glanced swiftly at her husband, then to me. Dad, no one's mentioning death. Conversely, we want you to enjoy a serene life without fretting over domestic issues. With your condition, with my condition, I can endure another 8 years. I interjected. Doctor? Harrison stated that with appropriate care, COPD isn't fatal. Of course, Reginald concurred swiftly. But planning ahead is never premature. Furthermore, he lowered his tone as if confiding. Property values are soaring in our area. Transferring now can dodge hefty taxes later. I reclined. Regarding my daughter and her spouse, did they truly think me so gullible? Or had they grown desperate and opted for directness? Thanks for the care, I said at last. But I'm not prepared for such weighty choices yet. I need to reflect. Sophia seemed let down, but Reginald stayed professionally composed. Naturally. Harold, no pressure. I'll leave the files for you to review leisurely. He neatly stacked them and passed them to me. And if questions arise, contact me any time. After they exited, I lingered in the seat, perusing the left documents, a transfer deed, a proxy for asset management, other legal forms. Reginald had covered everything. Signing these would make my home no longer mine effectively. The next day, when Clara arrived for my shot, I was still preoccupied. Something troubling you, Mr. Jenkins? She asked, sensing my distraction. You're not your usual self. My daughter and son-in-law want me to sign over the home to them. Clara paused briefly, then resumed prepping the injection. What have you resolved? Nothing yet. But they're insistent. She gave the shot and sat facing me. Mr. Jenkins. I've dealt with seniors for 15 years, and I've frequently witnessed relatives showing keen interest in assets, particularly upon learning of grave diagnoses. I nodded. Yes, it was after Sophia learned of my COPD that these talks began. Be cautious. Clara softened her voice. I don't wish to badmouth your kin, but I've seen many instances where elders were hurried into such choices. Thanks for the caution. I smiled at her. But don't fret. I'm still sound-minded and won't endorse anything I oppose. After Clara left, I phoned my longtime friend, Marcus, a semi-retired attorney who still advised select clients. I recounted Reginald's visit and the shown papers. Harold, don't sign a thing, Marcus said resolutely. Especially the transfer. It's the least favorable for you in property handover. No assurance you'll remain in the home. No safeguards for your rights. I didn't plan to, I replied, but Reginald claims it's optimal for estate planning. Marcus huffed. Estate planning, perhaps, but not for the bequeather, for the inheritors. If inheritance worries you, I can aid in crafting a proper testament with stipulations, but a transfer is mere handover without terms. After conversing with Marcus, I felt surer, at least now. I knew definitively I wouldn't accept Reginald's proposal. Sophia called a day later. Dad, have you examined the files? She asked after routine health queries. Yes, I have. I responded. And I'm not signing? Silence ensued. Why not? Steele edged her tone. It's for your benefit. It's for my benefit to leave it be, I said evenly. This home is all I retain. I'm not surrendering it. Dad, no one's requesting surrender. You'll dwell there as before. It's just Reginald will own it technically. What if I wish to sell the home or finance it or lease rooms? I couldn't. She sighed, clearly annoyed. Why would you? At your age and health, at my age and health, I'm still sovereign over my life and holdings, I declared, and I won't sign those files. Following this exchange, a pause occurred. For 5 days, no word from Sophia. Then on Friday, Ethan arrived unexpectedly. He came alone, without notice, and appeared anxious. Grandpa, he said as we settled on the patio, I need to speak with you. Of course, son. What's the matter? He wavered, unsure how to start. It's regarding Mom and Reginald. They're well. They've been discussing your home a lot. I nodded. I know. They've already visited with the transfer papers. It's not only that. Ethan lowered his voice. Though we were alone, last night, I overheard them. They were talking about alternative approaches. What alternatives? He seemed uneasy, betraying his parents. Reginald mentioned that if you don't consent willingly, they could attempt to demonstrate your incompetence due to age and sickness. Then the judiciary might appoint Mom as your custodian, granting her estate control. Anger surged within me. Do they view me as a senile elder? Ethan shook his head. No. But Reginald said it's feasible to locate a physician who'll provide the appropriate assessment, especially with your diagnosis and years. Thanks for alerting me. Ethan, I said eventually, you did right. He looked remorseful. I didn't aim to betray them, but it's unjust what they're plotting. You didn't betray. You acted honorably. After Ethan departed, I rang Marcus again and detailed the fresh developments. Don't alarm prematurely, he said after a pause. Declaring incapacity needs strong grounds. Age alone isn't sufficient. even with COPD. But to be safe, get an evaluation from an independent specialist. I know a reliable one, Dr. Ellis. He can issue a full competency report that's tough to dispute. Do you believe it'll escalate? I asked. I hope not, but better prepared. Marcus replied, I'll arrange with Ellis for next week. Barely had I disconnected when the bell rang. Reginald stood there, solo without Sophia. Harold, he smiled, his signature smile. I was passing and thought to visit. May I enter? I admitted him, curious about his new tactic. Sophia said you declined the papers. He began as we sat in the den. I comprehend your reluctance. It's a major move, not reluctance. Reginald, a resolution. I won't sign the transfer. He nodded. As if anticipating this. Fine. I honor your choice. But maybe we can compromise. What compromise? Reginald retrieved a fresh binder from his satchel. I've drafted another option. Not a transfer, but a lifetime support contract. You convey the home's title to us. And we commit to sustaining you lifelong. Meals, drugs, assistance. I scanned the files briefly, and what ensures you honor the terms. It's all detailed in the agreement. Reginald indicated the sections. If we breach, you can annul via court and reclaim your home. Via court. I smirked. At my age and health, litigating a seasoned attorney sounds splendid. Reginald appeared slightly offended. Harold, I grasp your worries, but trust me, Sophia and I intend well. We see your struggles with the home, especially now with your diagnosis. I handle the home adequately. I said, I have a nurse, a neighbor for cleaning, a grandson for the yard, everything required. 2 days later, while I was in the yard, Sophia arrived. This time, she brought not only Reginald, but a man in a formal suit I didn't recognize. Dad, she beamed a bit too widely. I'd like you to meet Dr. Monroe. He's an elder care expert. We brought him to examine you. I instantly knew the intent. This was the doctor meant to deem me unfit. Why should I undergo assessment by an unknown physician? I asked, not rising from the seat. I have my primary doctor, Dr. Harrison. Dad, it's merely a consult. Sophia neared. We're concerned for you, Doctor. Monroe is an excellent specialist and can help determine optimal care management. I don't require managed care, I stated. I have it arranged. Dr. Monroe, a short, thinning-haired man with a notepad, cleared his throat. Mr. Jenkins, your daughter is genuinely worried. This is routine for folks your age with serious conditions. A brief chat. Some evaluations. No. I shook my head resolutely. I won't participate in any evaluations. Actually, I request you depart. I have plans. Sophia gave Reginald a desperate glance. He advanced. Harold, you're unreasonable. We seek to aid. If you seek to aid, honor my desires. I was losing patience. Now, kindly leave. After they went, I contacted Marcus and urged hastening the appointment with Dr. Ellis. The following day, I was in his clinic, undergoing tests for mental acuity, recall, and judgment. Mr. Jenkins, Ellis said upon completion, you're in superb cognitive form for your years. I find no basis to question your competence. He provided an official document, which I promptly took to Marcus for certification. Now, I held a strong card if Sophia and Reginald pursued legal action. That evening, Ethan called. Grandpa, just a heads up. Mom and Reginald are furious over yesterday. They didn't anticipate your refusal to speak with Dr. Monroe. Thanks for the alert. Ethan, I replied, but I've readied myself. Today, an independent specialist confirmed my full competence. Laughter echoed on the line. You've outmaneuvered them, Grandpa. I hope it doesn't turn to maneuvers. I sighed. We're kin, after all. But I erred. The next day, Sophia came alone, her expression ominous. Dad, she launched without prelude, I see you reject our aid, but you must grasp we won't yield. This concerns your welfare and my residence. I added. She compressed her lips. Yes, and my residence too. You're 78 with advanced COPD. You can't reside alone in a large home. It's risky. According to whom I queried, Doctor, Harrison doesn't view it as problematic. Clara says I'm fine. They don't dwell with you, Sophia countered. They don't witness your struggles. Do you? You're here once weekly, and only since learning I'm ill. She disregarded my words. Dad, I'm stating this once. Either accept our conditions deeding the home for full support and care, or she paused, or we'll seek judicial intervention. Proving incapacity won't be difficult. Age, illness, refusal of medical review. I have Dr. Ellis's competency report, I interjected, observing her face alter. Certified. So, your threats lack foundation. Sophia blanched. You underwent examination deliberately. Why for the same cause you brought Dr. Monroe? I replied serenely. I'm safeguarding my interests. She rose, fists balled. You stubborn old fool. We're attempting aid. And you're just pig-headed. Pig-headed. I stood too. Per Dr. Ellis, I'm entirely sane. Your conduct, however, is dubious. You know what? She seized her purse. Do as you please. Live solo. Tumble. Injure yourself. But when you're truly ailing, don't contact us. She exited, banging the door. I slumped into the seat, feeling oddly vacant. My sole daughter had just wished me solitary suffering, all over the home. Ethan rang that night. He'd heard from his mother about our dispute and called to check on me. I'll visit tomorrow. Grandpa, he said, ignore Mom. She's upset. Upset she didn't secure my home. I grinned wryly. You know, Ethan, I never imagined I'd witness my daughter viewing me as an encumbrance. You're no encumbrance, he affirmed, and I'll always support you, regardless. After speaking with my grandson, I lingered by the window, gazing at the garden Eleanor and I initiated long ago. What would she say, seeing our daughter's transformation? How did we nurture someone valuing goods over bonds? I knew the conflict had just commenced. Sophia and Reginald wouldn't surrender easily. But now I had an ally, my grandson Ethan, who, unlike his mother, recalled family's essence. After the clash with Sophia, a peculiar calm ensued. She didn't call, didn't visit. Not even Reginald appeared with his document-laden binders. Only Ethan came routinely, aiding with the yard and minor repairs. Mom's still irate. He mentioned one day while pruning the bushes, but I think she'll mellow by your birthday. My birthday approached the 5th of June, turning 78. Not that I valued it much. At my age, Birthdays reminded of remaining time, not celebration. I'd prefer she skip it, I replied, watching Ethan's deft, sheer handling. Last time, she wished me solitary pain. Ethan averted his gaze guiltily. She didn't intend it. Grandpa, she flared up, and, you know, some words can't be uttered even in anger. I sighed, especially to parents. He didn't dispute. We both knew my point. 4 days before my birthday, Sophia did contact. Her voice was strained, but not hostile. Dad, we want to host a small celebration for you, she said abruptly. I reserved at Lakeside Bistro for 6 p.m. Does that work? Lakeside Bistro was a pricey eatery in downtown Riverside. Not my preferred venue, but I chose not to argue. Fine, I answered. Who's attending Reginald tonight? Ethan. You. She paused. Invite others if desired. I considered Clara. She was the only one besides Ethan I interacted with regularly. But inviting a nurse to family dinner seemed odd. No, none, I said. Thanks for the invite. Good, she replied, relief flickering. Settled then. Ethan will fetch you at 6. On my birthday. I awoke with chest heaviness, not from COPD, but foreboding. Instinct suggested an unpleasant evening. Sophia wasn't one to forget slights or alter schemes swiftly. Ethan arrived punctually at 6. He wore a formal suit, unusually dressed up. Happy birthday, Grandpa. He hugged me and presented a small ribboned package. Open it now. Inside was a fine leather billfold with my monogram. Thank you. I was moved. Very thoughtful. Your old one's frayed. He smiled. Time for renewal. En route to the bistro. Ethan was uncharacteristically quiet. He began sentences multiple times, but halted. Something amiss, I asked finally. He sighed. Eyes on the road. Just Mom and Reginald. They're scheming again. I don't know details. But Reginald phoned a property agent yesterday. A property agent, I tensed. Why, unsure. Ethan shook his head. But I dislike it. Lakeside Bistro welcomed us with soft illumination and gentle tunes. Sophia and Reginald awaited at a corner table, both attired as for a corporate gathering, not family supper. Dad? Sophia rose and gave a quick embrace. Happy birthday. Harold? Reginald extended his hand. Best wishes? You appear well? We seated. The server offered menus, but Sophia said she'd ordered for all. Unusual for her. She typically lingered over selections, choosing priciest items. Now, Dad? She began as the server departed. Reginald and I have reflected long on our disagreement. Concluding we overreached, I waited silently, doubting her abrupt contrition. We recognize the home is more than property to you, she proceeded. It's recollections, legacy. We should have been gentler. Reginald nodded solemnly. Indeed. Harold, we were too blunt. I apologize. I glanced at Ethan. He seemed as astonished. Thanks for comprehending, I said mildly. I hope we can shelve the topic and savor the evening. Sophia smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Certainly. Dad, it's your occasion. The server brought starters and wine. Talk shifted to neutral subjects. Climate. Ethan's fresh landscaping venture in the town square. Recent films. I nearly believed the night could pass amicably. But during the entree, Sophia abruptly set her fork down and regarded me. Dad, I wish to revisit the home discussion. I sighed. Sophia, we've covered this. I won't. No. Hear me, she interrupted. We have a fresh proposal. We located you a suite in a senior living community. It's excellent round-the-clock personnel. Health services. I'm not relocating to a care facility, I said resolutely. I'm content where I am, Reginald interjected. Harold, it's not a care facility. It's a modern setup for elders prizing ease and safety. You'll live independently, but under expert oversight. What of my home, I asked, knowing the response. Sophia and Reginald exchanged looks. We think selling it best, Sophia said. It's oversized, requires constant upkeep. Sale proceeds will cover your new residence costs. And if there's surplus, I couldn't resist asking. Reginald cleared his throat. Considering market conditions, I doubt much remainder. Quality communities aren't inexpensive. I regarded them both and realized they'd decided already. They'd found a purchaser, selected my spot in a facility. All needed was my agreement. No, I said firmly. I'm not selling, not moving. Sophia pressed her lips. Dad, be sensible. You can't live solo thus. It's hazardous. I'm managing, I countered. I have support, nurse twice weekly, neighbor for tidying. Sophia scoffed. Insufficient. What if you fall or suffer an episode at night? Ethan attempted mediation. Mom, perhaps not now. It's Grandpa's birthday. She silenced him. Dad, I say this as your loving, worried daughter. You need constant oversight. I looked at her, unrecognizing. This wasn't the child Eleanor and I raised. Or perhaps it was self-centered, accustomed to obtaining desires. If you truly care, I said softly, respect my wishes. I want to remain in my home. Sophia slapped the table, drawing nearby Diner's attention. Deed the home to my husband. Her words rang loudly, turning heads our way. Reginald tried calming her, touching her shoulder, but she shrugged it off. Stop feigning, Sophia continued, undiminished. We all know your time is short. Why clutch a home we'll inherit post your demise anyway? You're just a deranged elder ignoring kin. Ethan leaped up. Mom, how dare you? But Sophia persisted. You, she pointed at me, are merely a ruin too obstinate to acknowledge facts. You need aid, ongoing care. But no, you grip your home like it's your sole possession. The bistro hushed. All eyed our family drama. I felt my face flush with embarrassment and degradation. Compose yourself. Sophia. Reginald grasped her hand. This isn't the venue for such discourse. Oh, where is she whirled to him? We've tried amicable talks, proposed options. He rejects all, thinks only of himself. I sat, eyes on my plate. Emotions stormed inside rage, hurt, despair. But I remained mute. What to say? That my daughter had become avaricious, uncaring, that she dishonored her mother's legacy. Ethan touched my shoulder. Grandpa, let's head home, I'll drive. I nodded, wordless. Yes, escort him. Sophia waved. He's futile anyway. Wasted effort. Ethan and I rose. Reginald feigned normalcy, offering his hand. Harold, sorry for the outburst. Sophia's just anxious. I ignored his gesture. Ethan and I left under patrons' gazes. In the vehicle, I finally breathed. Hands trembled. I'm terribly sorry. Grandpa? Ethan appeared downcast. I didn't expect her seen. Not your fault, I said, watching city lights blur. It's her essence. She wasn't always thus. Ethan shook his head. She was kinder once. Perhaps, I doubted. Or she hid her nature better. We drove silently the rest. Ethan escorted me home and offered to stay, but I declined. I needed isolation to reflect on events and decide. After my grandson left, I lingered in the seat, studying wall photos. Eleanor, Sophia as a youth, our family, when joyful or believing so. Sophia's words echoed, deranged, elder, ruin, short time left. How could she utter that, humiliate me publicly on my birthday? Worse, she believed her righteousness, believed entitlement to dictate my life, home, future. I slept little that night. Morning brought resolution. First, I called Marcus. He heard my account of the prior evening without interruption, only sighing deeply at times. What do you intend? Harold, he asked when I concluded. Sell the home, I answered, but not to them and amend the will. Certain it's major, utterly certain. Sophia crossed lines yesterday. I can't continue knowing she awaits my death for the home. Marcus paused, then said, All right, I know a trustworthy property agent, Lydia Hartman. She's ethical and efficient. For the will, visit this afternoon. I'll prepare. I contacted Lydia post Marcus chat. She arrived within hours. A dynamic woman in her 30s with a pad and camera. Mr. Jenkins, she said, surveying the home. Charming property, generous yard, prime spot, sturdy build. But honestly, it needs updates. For quick sale, price must drop. How much? She named a figure below market, but it didn't faze me. Priority was swift sale without Sophia's input. I concur, I said. When can we list today? Lydia beamed. I'll photograph and draft the listing. At our discussed price. Buyers will emerge fast. And they did. 2 days later, 2 bids. I selected a family with 3 kids. They evoked Eleanor and me at our home's purchase. Simultaneously, I sought new lodging, not a facility as Sophia desired, but a quaint spot by Lake Tahoe. There, I found a modest single-level cottage, just 1 bedroom, a den, and kitchen, but lake-viewed with a tiny plot for planting. When papers were set, I called Ethan. He deserved hearing from me, not his mother, Grandpa, concern in his tone. How are you post that night? I'm selling the home. Ethan, I said directly, and acquiring a new one near Lake Tahoe. Silence on the line. You're what he uttered finally. But why, after your mother's words? I can't remain, I replied. Each entry will recall her statements. Besides, she won't cease. She'll attempt seizing it repeatedly. But it's your home. You and Grandma lived there decades. A home is mere structure. Ethan, memories travel with me. He paused long, then asked, Does Mom know? Not yet. I wanted you first. She'll rage, Ethan cautioned, especially learning you didn't sell to her. I know, but it's my call. That day, I visited Marcus to revise the will. Previously, Sophia was chief heir with a minor portion for Ethan. Now, altering all? Sure, Marcus queried when I outlined. Excluding your daughter entirely is grave. After her words, certain, I replied. Whatever remains post-sale goes to Ethan. He's the sole one truly caring. Marcus nodded and drafted anew. I signed with odd relief. The sale finalized swiftly, in 10 days. New owners eager to occupy. And I'd secured the lake cottage for immediate move. Sophia learned when too late for changes. Ethan called panicked. Grandpa, Mom discovered she's livid, threatens lawsuit, claims you're unsound, that she should have purchased. Let her litigate, I said calmly. I have Dr. Ellis's competency doc and restaurant witnesses to her conduct. That day, Sophia visited. I was packing for relocation. How could you? She stormed in without knocking. Sell behind my back. To whom? Why not us? I regarded her steadily. After your restaurant words, you ask I was distressed. She flung her arms. You know I didn't mean it. No. Sophia, I shook my head. You meant precisely. You see me as deranged elder, blocking your asset. Well, my assets are diminished now. She paled. We'll sue. Contest the transaction. Prove incapacity. Try? I shrugged. But note I excluded you from the will too. That struck hard. Sophia froze, disbelieving. You what? But I'm your daughter, and I'm your father. I replied, but that didn't halt your insults as mindless ruin. She collapsed in the seat, hands over face. You can't. Unfair. Fair to demand a dying father yield his home, I asked. Fair to publicly shame him on his birthday. Sophia met my eyes, tears welling. Genuine or feigned, I couldn't discern. Dad, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But you can't disinherit me. I'm your daughter, your blood. Bonds aren't solely blood. Sophia, I averted. Their actions. Yours show care only for my holdings, not me. She rose. Tears ceased. You'll rue this. We'll challenge sale and we'll revision. Do as you will, I said. But no, more pressure lessens my reversal chance. After she left, I sat, feeling strange void. It was closure end of daughter ties, end of decades in that home, but also onset of fresh life, free from scheming and coercion. 2 days later, I relocated to my new Lake Tahoe cottage compact, yet warm, with water and Peaks view. Ethan assisted moving cherished items photos, volumes, Eleanor's rocker, her glass figurine set. Grandpa, he said unpacking, no, whatever transpires with you and Mom, I'll always support. I embraced him, throat tight. Thanks, son. Means worlds. That night post Ethan's departure, I lingered on the new porch, watching sunset over Lake Tahoe. Deep down, I mourned daughter loss, but another part felt liberation and freedom. I'd done necessary shielded from poisonous bonds, shed constant strain source. Now at 78, I could live desired life, not others. The initial days in the new cottage were bustling. Despite its small 60 yards, setup demanded effort. Ethan visited daily, aiding unboxing, furniture placement, hanging art and photos. I insisted Eleanor's portrait centered in the den above the tiny hearth, which I hadn't yet lit. It's snug here, Ethan said, finishing basic setup. Much tinier than old. But what vista? He was correct. The den's wide window offered stunning Lake Tahoe view. Vast, serene, with distant hills. Water shifted hues by hour, and weather from deep indigo to gentle azure. Did your mom learn my new location? I asked. Serving tea? Ethan grimaced. Yes. She probed me, but I withheld. Then probably reviewed sale docs. In her words, many things. He averted. Mostly you're mad trading fine home for lakeside hut? A $300,000 hut. Yes, pricey. Lakeside spot inflated cost. But it was precise need. Single level. Compact with manageable plot. Distant from Sophia. Planning lawsuit, I asked. Lake gazing. She claims so. But Reginald seems unenthusiastic. Overheard him explain minimal win odds. Sensible man. Your stepdad. I noted. At least legally. Third day post-move. Clara phoned, voice worried. Mr. Jenkins, I visited your home for routine, but neighbors said you sold and left. What occurred, I explained, omitting harsher Sophia scandal details. And your current residence, she asked. Doctor, Harrison frets you might skip treatments. I provided new address. Knowing her drive, nearly 40 minutes one way, would complicate. Bit distant. She mused. But fine. I'll manage. Can't miss injections and checks. Perhaps Dr. Harrison suggests local. I proposed. I'll inquire. Meanwhile, I'll continue. I prepared for new nurse when Clara arrived day later with surprise proposal. Mr. Jenkins, she said post-injection. I've considered your setup. Lovely new home. But you're solo, without aid, and my travel hinders regular care. I nodded, awaiting replacement suggestion. So, Clara continued, you have one bedroom. Right. Perhaps I could rent it. I'd pay lease and monitor your health concurrently. Convenient for both? The idea. Startled. You want to relocate here, I asked. But your job? Other patients? Clara nodded. Yes, but few. Mostly in South Lake Tahoe. Not far? Besides, she hesitated. I need new lodging. Landlord selling. Must move anyway. I pondered. Clara's presence solved issues regular care, household help, oversight if worsened. But I valued solitude. Unsure sharing. We could trial, I said finally. Month long. If suits both, continue. She brightened. Thanks. Mr. Jenkins, I vow no interference, and willing to assist domestically beyond medical. Thus, Clara became housemate. She moved 3 days later with 2 bags of attire, book crate, an aged tabby named Whiskers, whom she cautioned to behave in new environs. Surprisingly, cohabitation proved comfortable. Clara unobtrusive, respected privacy, but available for needs. She prepared breakfast for 2. I handled dinner. Lunch usually separate, her often away with patients. Whiskers, against Clara's concerns, was ideal companion leisurely, self-reliant, but fond of curling near as I read by fire. Gradually, I realized move benefited me. Breathing eased, not just from crisp lake air, but absent constant tension Sophia's visits bred. Ethan approved new setup. Good Miss Thompson resides with you, he said on visit. Now I worry less. And your mother? I asked. Still suing? He sighed. Filed to void sale. Alleges incapacity during transaction. What odds, Reginald says? Slim. You have independent specialist report. Docs proper. No pressure or deceit witnesses. I nodded. Precisely what I anticipated prepping sale. And Will, I asked? Knows I excluded her? Yes. Ethan looked abashed. Angers her more than sale. Claims you betrayed family. Family. I grinned bitterly. The family she mentions vanished. Only her avarice and drive remain. We knew truth, but hard for Ethan to concede. His mother, after all. About 10 days, Post-move, expected yet dreaded event occurred. One evening, as Clara and I dined on terrace, savoring lake sunset, familiar black SUV entered driveway. My daughter and husband. I told Clara, shoulders tensing, afraid, unpleasant visit. Clara nodded empathetically. Want me gone? No. Remain? Perhaps your presence curbs extremes. Sophia exited without closing door, striding to terrace. Reginald followed measuredly with ever-present document binder. Dad! Sophia exclaimed, spotting me. Found you finally. What's this mean? Sell cheaply and flee here. I rose slowly. Evening. Sophia. Reginald. Meet Clara Thompson, my nurse and housemate. Clara nodded, but neither reciprocated. Housemate Sophia scanned terrace. You housed a nurse, really? Dad, Miss Thompson leases the spare room, I replied evenly. Benefits both? Reginald cleared throat. Harold, need private talk. I shook head. Say anything before Clara? No secrets from her. Sophia folded arms. Fine. Here's it. We sued. Sale voids. You were unfit during... Coerced? Unaware consequences? I smirked. Really? Who proves, doctor? Monroe, whom I barred entry. Reginald advanced. Harold, here. We avoid court. Lengthy, unpleasant, costly all. Proposed settlement. What settlement? He extracted paper from binder. We accept sale validity, but you restore old will with Sophia primary heir. I looked at daughter. She stood lips tight, face of one certain right. Ready battle? No, I said. Won't alter will. Dad? Sophia sputtered. Can't. I'm your daughter. Flesh. Blood. What did you? I asked softly. Label me mindless ruin. Demand, home for husband. Attempt, incapacity, declaration. She dismissed. Overreacted, you know? Upset. No cause, disinherit own daughter. Not inheritance, ruined family. Sophia? I shook head. Your attitude. You see me not father, but barrier to assets. Reginald interjected. Harold, rationally. Sold home worth $450,000 for $300. Bought this for $200. Remainder your legacy? Not much. Truly. Worth family ruin. Not some wrecked family. I answered. Sophia's behavior did. Clara, silently observing, coughed softly. Sorry intrude. But Mr. Jenkins mustn't stress. Could spark COPD episode. Sophia glared angrily. Who are you, where from, what want with father? I'm licensed nurse. Clara replied calmly. Cared for your father per doctor. Harrison months. Want only his health. Calm. Of course, Sophia sneered. Thus moved with lonely ill elder in Lake Cottage. Very convenient. Anger wave rose. Enough. Sophia, you insult not just me, but carer. Cares. She laughed. Dad. See, she's exploiting. Free lake stay. Plus likely eyeing new will. Clara rose. Think I'll leave. Family issues best private. No. I rose too. Stay, Clara. But Sophia and Reginald best depart. No more discuss. Sophia stared as if I spoke impossibly. Evicting me, your daughter, but keeping this opportunist, keeping respecter of me, decisions. I replied, evicting manipulators, threatening suit. Reginald touched wife's shoulder. Sophia, go. Not time. All too heated. But she shook off. No. Want understand, Dad, mad realize actions. Fully, I replied. Medical doc proves. Now. Leave. Instead obey. Sophia stepped toward house. Want see set up. Talk alone without her? I blocked. No. Sophia. Not entering my home. Not today. It's my home too, she yelled. I'm daughter. Right here. No right my property, I replied firmly. Not this cottage. Not funds. If not, leave now. Police call. Reginald intervened forcefully. Sophia, depart, pointless, worsening only. She shot me final furious glare. Fine, leaving, but not over. Dad, Rue treating family thus. They left, slamming doors loudly. I sank into seat, hands shaking. Clara silently fetched water glass. Calming tablet. Sorry witness scene, I said, regaining composure. She shook head. No apology. Sadly, seen often can valuing assets over elder welfare. We sat quiet, viewing darkening lake. Finally, Clara asked, think they'll sue certain? I replied, Sophia not one yield easy, especially money. What chances? I shrugged. Per Reginald, minimal. I have competency cert, docs proper. Sale via official agent. But Sophia tries even sans chance. Next day, Ethan called. Voice showed he knew parents' visit. Grandpa, so sorry, he said. Mom returned raging, yelling you're mad, entangled with fraudster. Clara no fraudster. I sighed. She leases room. AIDS treatment? No. Ethan replied fast. Don't believe Mom. She's not herself. What Reginald say? I asked. Still suing? Not sure, Ethan said softly. Morning? Heard him tell Mom, near zero win odds. Waste on attorneys. Reasonable man? I repeated. Grandpa. Ethan's voice softened. No? Whatever court rules. Whatever Mom says. I support you. Right live, desired life. Words touched deeply. Thanks, son. Means much. Week post Sophia's visit. Marcus called. Voice weary, Harold, daughter visited office. Demanded will copy, threatened suit for aiding unfit persons fraud. What you tell same as always. Such cases. He chuckled. Will confidential. No right disclosed, sans testator consent. And fraud, all docs legal. Medical competency report. She calm not quite. Marcus sighed. Yelled file complaint notary board. Revoke license. No. Harold, 40 years practice, seen much. But daughter impressive. Sorry, involved you? I said, no apology. Offered services knowing opposition? Besides, he grinned. Sophia not first irate heir threatened suit. Won't last. After Marcus' talk, I felt oddly serene. Yes. Sophia wouldn't surrender. Litigation possible. But certain right. Law cited me. 10 days later, area deputy arrived. Elder man, tired face, keen eyes, introduced as Robert Klein. Explained daughter's complaint, possible fraud, financial mishandling by Clara. Mr. Jenkins, he said, sitting den. Duty investigate such claims, especially elders' vulnerable scam. I nodded. Understand. Deputy, ask anything. He queried Clara relation, financial setup, how she housed. I detailed truthfully, no omissions. Daughter alleges miss. Thompson manipulates estate access. Deputy said post-explanation. You altered will her favor. I laughed. Deputy, did alter will, but not Clara's favor. Left all to grandson Ethan. Clara unaware. Klein nodded. Daughter no yes. Told myself. Hence anger. Not Clara, but exclusion post-home seizure attempt. Deputy heard attentively. More questions. Finally said, Mr. Jenkins. No offense here. You're lucid. Actions deliberate. No Clara fraud proof. Closing case. Post-departure. Relieved, but knew unfinished. Sophia wouldn't halt easy. Indeed. 2 days later, she came again. Solo, sans Reginald. I gardened when car stopped. Dad. She approached. Trying calm. Need serious talk. I straightened. Cane leaning. About what? Sophia Sheriff complaint Clara or lawsuit threat Marcus. She flushed slightly. I'm concerned you, woman lives your home. Who knows intent? And Marcus aided decisions you'd never make sound mind. What sound mind, I asked. One yield of all holdings, complaint free. Dad? She stepped nearer. Don't grasp. Reginald and I wanted best. Offering move. Sell home. But shouldn't said those, labeling you cruel, unfair. Closest apology I'd heard. Regret much too. I said, how turned out? Lost year. No contact. We sat silent. Hands held. Not full reconciliation. No. Wounds deep. But perhaps new understandings start. Home? Clara asked, meeting. Strange, I replied. Not good, bad. Just different. She nodded. Sometimes major event needed new light view. Yes, I agreed. But doesn't mean all changes. Sophia's still Sophia. I'm me. And that's fine, Clara said. Not every bond can or should save. Sometimes best accept as is. Find self-peace. I pondered her words that night. Yes, true. What could be more meaningful than inner peace at life's end? Living harmony self-nature. Doing joy-bringers, not others expects. We returned fishing small catch 3 bass. Clara cooked dinner. Simple meal, but unusually delicious. Perhaps fresh air, or satisfaction self-caught. Evening. Clara roomed. I lingered terrace long. Lake moon silvered. Thoughts inevitably, Sophia. Break up. Her lingering anger. Inability release. Oddly. Almost no bitterness. Betrayal pain dulled. Yielding quiet sorrow. Acceptance. Yes, happens. Sometimes bonds irreparably break. No effort repairs, especially one party blind fault. Unwilling change. Recalled youth. Tried save doomed water project from flawed base. Much effort, time, money strengthen, mend cracks, avert inevitable. Ultimately demolished. Rebuilt anyway. Sometimes easier start anew than patch. Flawed build endlessly. Perhaps Sophia relation like that wrong foundation. Maybe Eleanor, I aired upbringing. Or born traits, amplified time. Anyway, too late alter. That year fall especially stunning. Woods round lake painted vivid scarlet. Amber. Gold. Often terrace just sit admire splendor. Ethan came weekly despite library project swing. Helped winter prep home. Seal windows. Clear drains. Check heat. No grandpa. He said one day post-work by fire. Beginning understand place choice. So tranquil. I nodded. Precisely. Tranquil. Needed my age. No turmoil, no theater, just peace. Mom, never grasp. Your side, still thinks big homestay. Control you. Your mother always controlled. I noted even child-bossed yard kids. Eleanor said she'd be CEO. Ethan smiled. Well, financial advisor, not bad. But yes, control her. Silent moment. Fire gazing. She didn't buy nearby home, Ethan said, abrupt. Reginald convinced pointless spend. Instead cruise. Mom said needed diversion. Good them. I said truly. Hope trip aids release. Move on. Hope too. Ethan rose leave. Though knowing Mom, he trailed. But we knew implication. Sophia not release grudges easy. Shift views. As winter advanced, health declined. Cold air worsened COPD symptoms. Breathing harder. Clara insisted, doctor. Harrison visit. Who came hearing condition. Harold, he said post-exam. Be very cautious. COPD, advancing quicker expected. Avoid exertion. Chill air. Tension. I nodded, knowing partial compliance. Yes. Careful, but won't abandon life-meaningful things. Garden work warmer, lake fishing, shore walks. Clara present seemed read mind. Doctor, Harold not man homesit. No compromise. Let loves with minimal risk. Doctor? Harrison smiled. Known Harold long grasp. Good. Discuss safer activity. Grateful Clara's understanding. She not limit like Sophia, but sought ways full life despite illness. Winter yielded spring slowly. Snow melted. Trees budded first. Terrace more often. Inhaling fresh air. Nature changes, observing. One morning. Clara, I breakfasting? Phone rang. Ethan. Voice grave. Something happened. Grandpa, he said. Mom Reginald accident. Returning Reno. Slippery road. Car skidded. Heart clenched. They okay? Reginald bruises concussion? Ethan answered. Mom broken arm ribs. Hospital. No danger. Just recovery time. I'll go, I said, unthinking. Grandpa, can't stress. Ethan reminded. Just inform. Coming anyway. I insisted. My daughter. Ethan. Clara drove Riverside Hospital. Nervous whole way. Unsure Sophia reaction visit. Chase away, see appearance intrusion. Or worse. Weakness sign. Ethan waited entrance. Private room. He said leading corridor. Reginald just rested. Here all night. Room door. I paused. Sudden unsure. Maybe ask first want see. Ethan shook head. Told coming. Didn't object. Deep breath. Entered. Sophia lay bed. Pale bruises face. Bandaged arm. Looks small, vulnerable. Not confident commanding woman accustomed. Dad. She weak smiled, seeing. You came. I approached bed. Course. How feeling a... Better days. She joked attempt. Doctors say lucky. Could worse. We discussed condition. Treatment. Accident how. Avoided past conflicts. She seemed to... When Ethan exited doctor talk, Sophia sudden said, no. Car spinning road. Thought dying. Regretted most never reconciled. I took hand. Sophia, no. Let finish. She I met. Not saying wrong all. Truly thought best. Suggesting move. Sell home. But shouldn't said those. Calling you. Cruel unfair. Closest apology heard. Sorry lots too. I said. Way turned. Lost year no talk. Silent sat. Hands holding. Not reconciliation. No. Water passed much? Wounds deep. But perhaps some new understanding beginning. Home? Clara asked, meeting how? Strange, I replied. Not good bad, just different. She nodded understandingly. Sometimes big something needed new light see things. Yes, I agreed. But doesn't mean everything change. Sophia still Sophia. Me. And okay, Clara said. Not every relationship should saved. Sometimes best solution accept situation is find peace yourself. I thought her words long night. Yeah, right. I found peace myself, Little House Lake. Losing daughter, found self. True desires, independence, freedom, toxic relationships, manipulation. Perhaps Sophia, I never close once were. Maybe relationship always complicated reservations, reticence, but learned live it, not let bitterness poison good left. Friendship, Clara. Love Ethan. Little Lake House. Fishing trips. Garden. End at 79. Finally realized many earlier. Some relationships can't fixed. Hard try. Not tragedy. Just life part. Key find peace have. Not grieve lost. If you enjoyed this tale, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts on this story in the comments. To hear the next tale, click on the box on the right. Thank you for watching.